You go to the smaller towns, getting a 50,000 loan might be very easy today, even in the smallest remote of the town. But getting a 10 lakh loan for 15 years is not an easy job. A home loan is a highly commoditized business. So we are very clear we will focus on the self-employed segment, go deeper in territories wherever we operate in, and try and create leadership position in that particular markets in our space. I always tell my team, there is no work-life balance for any self-employed. I feel working as an employee is a cakewalk. I worked for 27 years. I think starting something of your own, though you know it, it is very difficult. A lot of people ask Ishwar, what is that you are going to do differently? So any new innovation should be on the process and customer experience, not on lending. Somebody told me you should create a TGIM movement. That struck to me. Thank God it's Monday.
The liability side of things is as important as kind of building the book, right? So what were some of the learnings as you went about navigating, getting the right set of lenders? Yeah, welcome to the Day One podcast by Elevation Capital, where we put together stories and journeys of founders we partner with. I'm Ishwar Prasad from the financial services team of Elevation Capital. We have with here Mr. Ram Naresh, who is the co-founder of Vridhi Home Finance in the affordable housing finance space. We partnered with Vridhi in 2023 in the Series A round, and we are thrilled to have doubled down in the recent Series B raise. The journey over the last couple of years has been phenomenal. Vridhi is now more than 200 crores of AUM with more than 50 branches across 5 states. Mr. Ram comes with more than close to 3 decades of experience in the BFSI space. He was instrumental in scaling Aavas from its early days to where it is right now. We are thrilled to have Mr. Ram here. Ram, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thanks, Ishwar, for calling me for this episode.
Ram, I think let's start with your journey, right? So, close to 27 years of experience in BFSI. So, what was the core motivation and insight that led you to kind of start Vridhi? And before that, could you also give a brief kind of introduction about what Vridhi does?
Yeah, before I go into my professional experience, I'll give you a little background about myself.
Right.
So I'm from a small town called Dharmavaram, which is in interior Andhra Pradesh. I belong to a middle class business family. The youngest of 4 siblings. I always wanted to do business, as any other business family does in the late or early or late mid 90s. There was no job opportunity, but due to financial constraints at home, so I had to come out and work to support myself and to support the family as well. So since then, I was lucky. I got associated with good companies. I was the first postgraduate in our home. So I got an opportunity to work with a Fortune 500 company, Nestle, one of the best companies in the FMCG space for the first 8 years. It taught me discipline. When you actually belong to a business family, you work with your terms. You work on a holiday. There is no Diwali, there is no Dashara. You go to the shop whenever you want, and you actually take a holiday whenever you want. You can shut it down. But in corporate world, it teaches you discipline. So Nestle was the first thing which taught me discipline. I was very rough. I couldn't speak English. Telugu is my mother tongue. So I underwent a very rough journey in transforming from a small town Telugu boy to a English speaking Bangalore boy. It was a good journey, I would say. I got associated with good set of people in Nestle. After that, I moved to financial services. Last 20 years has been financial services, and it was not by choice I got into mortgages. I wanted to move out from from FMCG and get into financial services. At that point of time, ICICI was the only one which was accommodating professionals from outside financial services into the banking sector. So got into ICICI luckily, and they asked me to work in home loans. It turned out to be a boon for me. Since then, I loved working with properties and helping people to acquire these properties. 2004 was very early stage of the formal housing finance getting built. So it was 7-8 years old industry then in the which was growing with only 2 players in the space. and they were also trying to define the industry. Industry was getting formed, so I was lucky to be part of that industry then. So we did large scale volumes there a couple of years, and I was feeling lost with no identity in such large organization. Then moved on to GE Money. So that taught me a MNC culture in financial services, which was completely different to the MNC culture in FMCG. And anyways, when G was going down globally, so I decided to join the founding team of Bajaj Finance. So it was all luck, but I always kept to my core of loving the mortgages. So I continued in mortgages even in Bajaj Finance. We were four of us building the mortgage space in Bajaj Finance. So that is where I got exposed to managing the P&L. We built a business from the scratch, working with a very respected Indian family house where the promoters are very hands-on, along with top-class management teams. It gave me an immense exposure on how to run a P&L and build business in a very professional way, in a very structured way, with the backing of a good brand. So from scratch we started and went on to build around 12,000 crores of AUM in Bajaj Finance. And from there, I always wanted to be in a company where mortgages is the core of the bread and butter of the uh, company. So I decided to work with a housing finance company, and I was lucky to get an opportunity to work with Aavas. It was a AU housing finance then. So got into Aavas. So Bajaj taught me the P&L management and how you can scale up a business from 0 to 1 and then 1 to 5 as well. But we didn't had to fix the nuts and bolts of the financial services business of raising capital, raising debt. There was such a huge support. We never you had to think. We had to just go and execute by building good business strategy and get on the team and go ahead. So we had a complete ecosystem built. So that was a different experience. When we moved on to AU, and luckily they got their banking license after I joining them, and then they divested in their housing finance company. So we were again four of us running that housing finance company, which was very small then. The founders had put in a lot of effort in building a new concept. So I did not build that. I went and joined when it was at a small scale. But actually, we took it to 10 states from one state where it was. So that was one very good learning. We built huge distribution out there. We were backed by two large PE funds. So we were employee entrepreneurs there, four of us. We were given complete authority and responsibility to build. Of course, strategically, the investors were involved, but our day-to-day execution was being run by four of us. So that gave an immense experience of how to build a company from scratch with no brand equity. So when we recruit people, wha- say from a good brand, so there you don't need to sell about the company and the job. So they will be ready to join the brand. So you will have to just interview them. So whereas when you build a company like ours, you get interviewed. Though you are a very senior person, managed so many people in your past, when you sit with the second level or the ground level employees also, you will have to sell yourself and the company, because they don't know about the company and what we are going to build. So I had to get interviewed at least 1,000 times in the first 2 3 years of building that company. That gave an immense exposure and pleasure as well. So because we were building brick by brick, and we were also part of creating a POC for the affordable housing finance industry. And it was all God's grace. I was at the right time at the right place, and we could execute it well. We took it for IPO. Being from the business family, as I said in the initially, I always wanted to start something of my own. So I usually have a 7 year itch. Every 7 years, I've moved a job. Nestle 7 to 8 years, I moved on, and then Bajaj 7 years, and Aavas 7 years. Uh, so every time I changed the job, I wanted to start business, but I neither had the expertise nor the resources to do it. I think once I came in here, I had the required expertise, experience, and resources also, I would say. So all of this helped me the entire experience. It was not a very difficult decision to start this company, but it was a difficult decision that the journey of taking that decision was almost 1 year long. So there was a lot of introspection as what I want in life. But the experience of 27 years, the life experience with these companies actually helped me to take this formation of Vridhi, I would say.
Understood. Again, thanks a lot for that, Ram. Now, of course, you've spent majority of your life as a professional building and scaling organizations, right? Now, over the last 2 to 3 years, now you have the experience of being a founder. So, it would be super helpful if you can give a sense of what is the difference in experience been of being a professional versus actually building something of your own.
I feel working as an employee is a cakewalk. At least for me, it was very easy. I worked for 27 years. My first boss in Nestle is still in touch with me. We still have drinks together in Bangalore. So you have a lot of people to guide you, to discipline you, to tell you what to do. You'll have to just execute. I think starting something of your own, though you know it, it is very difficult. I always tell my team there is no work life balance for any self employed. So if you're running a Kirana shop, so it is a 7-day week, morning 6 to evening 11. So where is work life balance for them? So they find their way out. So here you have 5-day week, 6-day week, 9 to 6, 8 hours of job. Still we talk about work life balance. So if you're not happy in professional life, you're not happy in personal life, and it is vice versa. So there is no differentiation between both your work life and personal life, I feel. So being a founder is a different responsibility altogether. Once I started building the team, we took a 5,000 square feet corporate office in a small street. You have seen our office in a small street in RT Nagar. So it was empty. We were 6, 7 of us in the office. Once it started filling up people, then I started feeling more and more responsible. So one small wrong step which I take, either on the business front or any other thing, I take a small wrong step, it will impact everybody's families because they are dependent on you now. Then they will have to go and search for a new job. So it brings in a lot of responsibility. When you're working, typically the buck doesn't end at you. So you have somebody else to back you. Even if you are at the helm of the company, of course, it might cost you a job, but it will not cost the company. There is somebody who's helping you, who's backing you. Whereas as a founder, the buck comes and stops at you. So luckily we are three, so the buck comes and stops at three of us. So it's a completely different ballgame, and it's very exciting. It's very exciting. You're creating something of your own, and there are so many pieces which come together to build an organization, which you don't realize till you get into that. So it has been a wonderful journey last 2 years, little or more than 2 years with Vridhi, in building Vridhi.
No, that's amazing story, Ram. And of course, the most critical and crucial aspect of building an organization is the people. So, as you were coming together with this idea, how did you think about the founding team and who should comprise in the team and how did you think about that entire kind of process and how did you ultimately decide that hey, this should be the founding team for Vridhi?
Uh, as I said, I always had the required resources to start it. It was not about money. I've just crossed 50 now. So when I was deciding, I was around 46, 47. It took me 1.5 year to come out of my earlier organization and start this. So there was a lot of introspection done. And after that, it was choosing the strategy of people, because it is all about people. As I said, I am all my people, colleagues and bosses I've worked with, I am still in touch with. My last company and the first company, over 27 years. So I'm a people's person, and for any organization is made of people, and people are the ones who will make or break. The quality of management, the quality of culture what you build is what will define the longevity of the organization. So it was pretty clear we need a good team. That is a primary for building anything, because we are not going to do. It was very clear when I decided I am going to do housing finance. It is not a rocket science business. So we are not inventing a rocket which we will send it to space. So we were not scientists. We were normal bankers building a execution strong company. So I was very clear we wanted to have a good team who has the same value system where we can trust each other. So it was not about money building Vridhi. Of course, money is a byproduct. If you are able to build a good organization, money follows. That has been my philosophy for last 20 years, I would say. So I was always ready to pair stake to anybody who's coming in as vet. But I had shortlisted some 8, 9 people whom I had worked over my last 27 years to come as partners. You call it, because we don't call ourselves startup because we are all with gray hair. Usually startups are with founders who are sub 30, less than 30 years. We are all in late 40s or mid 40s. So I wanted a team which can trust me and I can trust them. So I shortlisted 7, 8 people, and that the top 2 people I called, and both of them agreed. So I didn't need to go to the third list. And one criteria was we should not duplicate on our capabilities. So we should be complementing on our capabilities. They should have the same value system of governance or how they behave with each other and all. So the trust was very important. So I was speaking to one of my mentors. He said, you work with people where he asks you to close your eyes and take you without holding your hand. You just follow the instructions and vice versa. Uh, जाके कुएं में भी डाल दिया तो भी you should be ready to trust them. So that was one thing which was there, which reiterated my focus on the founding team. So luckily, I was lucky that I got 2 good founders who are probably better than me. So they send me to these kind of easy things only during working hours. So that was one very easy thing, and then they wanted to invest and put in their commitment. So it was a very easy and 5 minute decision for us. Whatever they wanted to put in, we agreed, and then I gave that stake, and we are equal founders in the company today.
Oh, very, very interesting story, Ram. Now, as you were thinking about building the next level of the organization across sales, credit, collections, right? What are some key aspects that you were looking for in some of your early and senior hires? It'd be helpful if you can just talk us through your mental framework as you're looking to build the organization and hire those senior leaders.
See, the first thing, except for the technology piece, rest all the pieces are general roles. It is not that we need a subject matter expert who have got deep expertise in that field. But luckily, I was part of creating the POC for the industry. We have created a lot of talent within the industry, within the affordable housing space. So, unlike what it used to be, say, 7, 8 years back, where we had to train people who were from outside the industry and do a experimentation and teach them. So today that experimentation is all done, and luckily since I was part of it, so I don't need to do that experimentation again. So it is straight go into execution. So I was actually not looking at any functional expert. I wanted people who have got great attitude, great aspirations to become something in life, and a good value system. So when I say value system, if I'm meeting somebody whom I do not know, how do you judge value system? Their family values is what? My IT head came, we met, and I'm not a techie, but I know what I want from technology. But how it is built, it is up to the technology expert. So when we are hiring, after 1, 2 meetings, I said, you are done. You will come now. You tell me your terms. So he asked me, I want to ask one question, sir. Why are you selecting me? So during the journey, he said, well, "Sir, I'm taking care of my father, and I'm staying with my father and mother." Rather than he saying that my parents are staying. He's from Uttarakhand. He came to Bangalore. So now also he says I'm staying with my parents. And then there are some couple of incidents. He said first bike from his father and first bike what is given to his father from his earnings. All of this create a lot of impact. That family value systems will have a lot of positive impact in your work also. So I had no other second thought. Of course, he was referred by somebody whom I didn't know much about, that person who was referred me, but I liked him, and it turned out to be a good hire for us. So I feel functional knowledge can be acquired over time. Your attitude cannot be. After 25, 30 years, you don't change your core so easily. It needs a very big uh, thing to change your core. very big incident to change your core. So I look at people who are aspirational, who have the value system, uh, and who have the aspirations to grow. So that is what the primary criteria. So we looked at people like that, and the first 7 8 people, uh, with one phone call they agreed, except for the IT guy who was not known to me, but once he said yes, he came on board as scheduled, and before everybody coming on board, they were doing work for us. So we have formed an excellent first level of team. Eight of us, including three of us. It's a superb team which we have built. I would say one of the best in the industry, with both subject matter expertise and the culture, the value what they bring in to the table.
Correct. No, no, that's very insightful, Ram. And coming to values and culture, right? And that's the soul, that's the glue that holds the organization together. So, as you were like thinking about building out Vridhi, right? How did you arrive at, hey, these are going to be the core values for the organization? And even from a culture perspective, how did you define that, hey, this should be the culture? And how did you ensure that each and every person that's coming into the Vridhi fold gets into this culture and it percolates all the way to the front line, right? So, how did you go about, again, defining this, setting this, as well as kind of institutionalizing both the values and the culture of the organization?
Um, See, this was the most important thing for us uh, when we decided to go like this. So once Sandeep and Sunil, both our co-founders, three of us, decided to team up together to start Vriddhi, before we could finalize our commercial terms, the first thing we finalized is what kind of company we will build. So Sandeep was telling me over call, Ram, what kind of company we should build. Whatever we have learned in the past, what we could not implement there, we should implement here. So all of us shared the same vision. Of course, our priorities were a little different in terms of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on certain points. But one thing it was very common: we want to build a organization which is very prudent and very high on culture, on value system. So we decided what is supposed to be our value system. We debated on that. Once we agreed this is what is our value system as a company, which we will not change for life. And after that, then we got into our commercial terms. So that is the importance we gave, and we formed a concept called C right. These are all. It might look like a jargon. So this was given by one of our team members, young team member. So the respect, customer first, respect, integrity, honesty, transparency, governance, and all of that. And it was nothing. It is nothing new. What we have followed in our life for so many years, which has helped us in our personal life, is what we want everyone in the company to follow. So typically, if you look at the vision, mission, and value system statements, they are on your company website and on your corporate office. You go to any of our branch, you go, the first poster is C right, which is in very simple English terms, even a 10th pass can understand. Every customer comes, he doesn't see Vriddhi, he sees our value system on the thing. So it is always there in our mind. And before we start any of our meeting, at our corporate office, whenever they meet anybody in the team, they start the meeting by emphasizing on value system. So I personally, whenever I meet any team member, probably I'll talk about value system for 15 minutes and 10 minutes in on business, if I'm addressing a large team. So we want everyone to follow that from the bottom of their heart rather than keeping that C right. C right is very easy to remember. It should not come from the mind, it should come from the heart. So that's good. And I think we've been, I will not say this is a journey. This is a lifetime journey, I would say. New people will keep coming in. So there are a lot of instances where what we talk in our meeting room, in our boardroom, when somebody else, a third party, goes to the field, they come and tell us that this incident has happened, which is very close to our, which is what we want the team to follow. So whatever we are thinking is what the team in the bottom is thinking. Multiple instances where we have got this. So I'm pretty happy the way we are building the culture. The entire team is aligned to that. There are so many practices which we actually mean when we say respect or transparency. There are so many instances which I can explain for next half an hour on what all things as a company we have made to stick to that value system, the C right value system.
Very, very inspiring, Ram. And now, as you're looking to build the organization over the next 5-10 years, right? One again crucial element is being able to build ground up the next generation of leaders who will take on different responsibilities, right? And especially in an industry where there's so much attrition, especially in the front line. So how do you go about again retaining talent and empowering them to kind of build themselves up to become the next set of leaders for the company who will kind of take it forward?
So, Ishwar, the industry has one major problem, which is the frontline attrition, and we are no different to that as of today. I feel it is not. I've been trying to fix this for last 9 years, I would say, but with very little success. Uh, so that is one challenge what the industry is facing, and that is the nuance of our balance sheet and P&L. Everybody builds that buffer in the system, but there should be a way out. So we are trying. So that is one strategy which we will be working on, and getting the mid-level to the senior most level over few years. The attrition at mid-level and above in good companies is not so high. So a good performer with good value system will be able to work with us for long. So there are multiple things at the ground level. There are the problem why any ground level employee goes out is that he or she is not able to source business. That is the most difficult part for any business in any space, and for these guys particularly because we are in the process of creating the industry. So you go to a small town, customers are negatively aware that they cannot get a long term loan. So you'll have to actually go and pitch them ki yes, you can get a loan. So there is a lot of cold calling activity which happens. Even whatever technology you build, the major origination is still from the ground level in the smaller towns. In the cities, you at least have the middleman now. Sourcing has become a little easy, but whenever there is a middleman, there is a lot of compromise on multiple metrics. Uh, so if you are able to help these employees with some business which can be given by the company. So we are trying to get multiple channels. So we want to become an omni-channel thing. So we are trying to tie up with fintech companies who has large data but doesn't have the capability to build mortgage business because it's a very different business from than funding an unsecured loan for 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. So you'll have to have a long-term liability and long-term loans. Once you open a branch, probably for life you can't shut it down. You are giving a 15-year loan. If you shut it down, how will you collect the money? So it's a different patience game. Right. Typically, all the mortgage companies are run by people like us who've got gray hair. So it is very difficult for the fintech companies to have that orientation change. So we are trying to pitch them. So we have built our own tech platform where we can integrate it with them. So that is one approach we are taking so that we can ease out our field teams productivity issues. If they are able to do business, then that will give them job satisfaction. They will also earn incentive and they will stay longer with us. And second thing is training the first level managers. So hand holding is very important. It is such a fast pace. Nobody thinks about spending time on training with the team. See, at a company level, we can give a 1 week, 10 days training also to the boy or girl at the front end. But after that, they are in the field. They need a lot of hand holding. So the industry is growing so fast. So many players are coming in. So the managers whom we get are very raw. Most of them are first time managers. So they can't manage themselves first. And we expect them to manage 7 people. So that is where the equation goes wrong. So we are spending a lot of time and energy in training these people on their life skills and the soft skills. Typically, it doesn't soft skill training happen at mid level and above. We are trying to build that training culture to them. So these both things we are trying to do. So in the initial months, we were doing it in an unstructured way. Now next 1 year, we will build a very huge training ecosystem within Vridhi to address this issue. And at mid level, we have a different approach of putting them in the top talent, give them different perks in terms of learning as well as compensation as well as a fast track growth. So we have a lot of auto promotion policies. Nobody need to ask for promotion. The ground level staff can get promoted every 6 months without they asking any questions. They will not even know end of every quarter we publish 18 people have got promoted. So that is one more unique thing which we are doing. So we would like to adopt that to the mid level managers as well.
Very, very interesting, Ram. And coming to the business or the business side of things, right? So India is a very large and very diverse and complex market. Each state has its own set of nuances. Each customer segment is also very, very different depending on the income level, depending on the ticket size of loans, right? So, what were some of the design choices that you made early on with respect to, hey, these are the target customers, this is the target geography, and within these markets, how would you kind of differentiate yourself from the competition out there?
A lot of people ask this, Ishwar, what is that you are going to do differently? In lending space, you try too much differently. So early 2008, when I was with GE, they said that US has these ninja loans and all. I don't know what it stands for, no income, no some loans, which has seen the mortgage bust. So any new innovation should be on the process and customer experience, not on lending. Okay. So we were very clear on that fundamental. We are not going to go aggressive on our risk metrics. How can we create differentiation? Say the mortgage space, like your formal mortgage, is like your rice and dal. It is commodity. So you want a home loan, you say home loan in your Google, without you doing anything, it will pop up 25 players, starting from nationalized banks to large HFCs and all. And it is a highly commoditized business, and there is no margin there. And there is no way that companies who are new age companies can go and lend at that rate, because you cannot create that liability franchise. Only AAA rated companies can work in that space, that too with cutthroat OPEX controls. So we were very clear we want to go deep into the markets. So my Nestle experience has given me that the deeper you go into India, you will find new avenues of business. So you go to the smaller towns, getting a 50,000 loan might be very easy today, even in the smallest remote of the town. But getting a 10 lakh loan for 15 years is not an easy job. So we are going deep in every state where we are going. A taluka place where even wherever we go within 50-kilometer radius, 3,000 population to 50,000 to 5 lakh population we will cater to. So this is a very difficult business to build. So I will not say there is competition in affordable space. Everybody is a peer group. So we wanted to focus on self-employed and go deeper. So there are one or two players in that space. So there are players who go horizontally who and focus on salaried business. So their 70% is salaried, 30% is self-employed. Whereas for us, it would be the other way around. I would rather build 100% self-employed book, but salaried customers also come in smaller towns or urban areas of the city, the semi-urban areas of the cities. So we are very clear we will focus on the self-employed segment, go deeper in territories wherever we operate in, and try and create leadership position in that particular markets in our space. And adding to that, we wanted to put technology first. So a lot of mortgage companies don't use technology, or they would invest on technology, but they wouldn't implement it well. Okay, so there are very few companies who have cracked the technology piece. One or two companies who have got built good technology. So for that, you need to have the tech orientation, because the volumes are not very high. Even the largest housing finance company today disburses 4,000 cases, which is not a very and for doing 4,000 cases, there might be 4,000 employees. So it is not a very large volume game, unlike your unsecured loans, where in seconds you will have to give the money. Here, even the customer doesn't want. If you give approval early, he will ask, why? Is it true that I am getting money? Then he will do his due diligence whether the company is correct or not. So it is not about the speed; it is about building the efficiencies. So technology is not used that effectively. So right from day one, even before we raised funds, we started the company with our own funds initially. So it was very clear we will build a tech first company. So we called ourselves a phygital company, and we still stay true to that 2.5 years from inception. Since inception, there's another 1.5 year journey for us to go paperless. So that will be one more moat what we would create, that will help us in acquiring customers digitally also, as and when there are avenues which will open up. So now slowly next 1 decade, I would say there will be digitization of documents as well, legal documents. Today it is highly fragmented, every state wise, it's very complex. But I feel in the next 1 decade, things will ease out. So while that is happening in each state, we will be probably one of the first players to take advantage of that. So we want to create 50% of our business as fintech, creating a first class customer experience, and create a very efficient ecosystem for the entire process flow. So that along with that, our expertise as a mortgage team. So uh, it's a rare breed. Very few people have so much of expertise building businesses. So we are lucky that we've got a couple of people in the team, including me, who have got that experience. So that will help us as an organization also.
Well, that's very very helpful to understand. Now, as of course in a NBFC or a lending business, the liability side of things is as important as kind of building the book, right? So, what were some of the learnings as you went about navigating, getting the right set of lenders, and what would your advice be for founders in the space when it comes to liability management?
Um, See, liability is one of the most important pieces in the life of any mortgage company. If you ask me how we have gone ahead and built it, we have not yet built it. God's grace, we have been lucky that we've got two good investors. We have more capital than what we can lend for the next 12 months' time. And there are regulatory requirements of we meeting some specific metrics. So the borrowing is very limited. But our strategy is pretty clear. In my entire journey, I've built businesses, I've built people, I built teams, I built technology, but I've never built liabilities. So when we were starting this one piece, I always considered myself a little weak on. So on day one, we partnered with somebody who is one of the largest treasury, one of the big name in the treasury side, who was heading one of the largest treasuries of the country, who's just retired. He's come on board, and he had so much confidence on us. He has put in almost close to 1 million and took some stake with us, and he's an independent director as well. So we have created that capability where he can guide us to go to build the right set of liability franchise. But one thing is very clear, in mortgages every penny counts. Uh, the cost of liability has to be the most competitive for us. So we are building our foundation very strong on that. So with the second round now, Series B, you guys call it Series B. For us, it is second round of capital. We will be crossing 500 crore of AUM, 500 crores of net worth, which is a decent net worth for any mid-sized company. And we have at least last 22 months post our licensing, we are running the book very clean. It is 100% current without any delinquencies. Uh, so that shows our expertise in underwriting, that we have not met with any small accidents in the first 2 years of journey, which gives us confidence and which should give us comfort to any lenders or this one. And also we have spread our distribution to 5 states now, so that there is no geographical concentration, which usually lenders are a little wary about. So that way we are present in top 5 states of the country. So all of these will help us in building good liability franchise. We are on the right track to build a good liability franchise. We have very small liability franchise as of now with only 4 lenders on our board. We are already at sub 10% borrowing rates, which is very rare for a company of our vintage and of our size. So we are pretty clear we want to get the best terms, because we believe that we can be a long term partner with any of the lenders who would come on board initially. and also we will be one of the most governed, governed company. We are on the right track for building, but we have not still created. We are at least 3 to 4 quarters away in building in building the liability franchise. So, but we are very clear on our liability path. So. We have already created the internal team which can already interact with these people, and with our independent director who can mentor us in going on the right path for building this franchise. So I'm pretty sure we can build that.
And Ram, just stepping back a little bit and reflecting on the journey over the last few years, right? While you were starting out, there are many things that you might have envisioned and many plans that you might have created. But oftentimes, reality is such that things don't always go as per plan, right? So now, what are some instances where again there is something that you wanted to do but it didn't go as per plan, and what were some of the key learnings in the process?
Uh, See, I always uh, believed that we are doing what we know the best in our life. So I've been doing this for 20 years, building or running mortgage businesses at different capacities, right from the field till building a business independently. So that has given us a lot of experience, and all our team also is like that. There were not too many surprises. There are 5 large building pieces. One is setting up the right set of distribution, uh, and building a good team. I think on that I would rate ourselves 100 on 100. We have set a good distribution. We have gone deep as we envisaged and did it. We wanted and raising capital. There also I would say I was not very sure. So we had made a plan A for 10 years and plan B of 10 years. The other two co-founders are chartered accountants for me. So we together made a 10-year plan. Plan A is no capital, external capital raised. We will do it only with our capital. And it might be a small and mid-sized company over 10 years. And we raise capital, then how do we go about it? So that was our plan B. And plan B became plan A as soon as we started with the. So the capital raise also was, God's grace, was very smooth. Building liability franchise, that is yet to be tested, I would say. But we are on the right path to that. And finally, the outcome, I would say. On outcome, I would rate ourselves at say 85%. So whatever numbers I thought it is very easy to do with so much many years of experience, it was not that easy. We could build, but the gestation was a little longer than what I thought I feel. So we're at 85% kind of our projected numbers. But I'm pretty happy with it. We are building it with good quality portfolio. All the building blocks are in place. We should. So the highway is there. So there are brakes in our Ferrari. So it can go at 300 also when we want to, without any accidents. So we have built that entire highway and the required controls where we can grow up now.
That's a great way of putting it. And now, as you look forward, right, what are some of the key priorities for you over the next 12 to 18 months? Right, and also as you think more long term, right, what is the vision that you have for Vridhi 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now?
So I always tell our team also, and tell everybody, and tell myself and my wife, ki we are building Vridhi for the next generation. So we want this to be a legacy creation activity for us. So we'll be very happy if our second generation comes and runs this company. Not only our founders' second generation, even our senior employees' second generation comes and runs this company. I would be very happy, because it's a annuity business, mortgages. If you are building it with the right kind of prudence, it can last for long. Where there is a long runway for mortgage business in the country. Even my son's son also can, or daughter also can still run this. So I would be very happy. So that is the vision. We want it to last. We don't want to uh, build it for short term. That is one primary thing which we have. So that actually changes a lot of perspective. Whenever you are taking one step, You say, boss, after 10 years, will it become relevant? Would we regret taking this decision? So that changes a lot when you have a short term vision versus a long term vision. Uh, so that is helping us because everybody is aligned to that thought. Um, uh, and next 12 to 18 months, it is very this one. In fact, earlier you asked what you had envisaged and what you have not built. We wanted to build a tech first company, a phygital company. I thought we will hire a tech expert and he will build it. We will only give him the requirement. So I gave him a big workflow. This is the process it should be. From that end to this end, I wrote a workflow and gave it to them. So I thought my work is done, but my work started there only. So it is actually difficult building a good technology with so many complex ecosystem. So that is still a WIP. We are I think 50-60% there, but we are going to build one of the best mortgage onboarding systems in the country in the next 12 months time. So we've changed our strategy of only dependent on the external people. We are also building an in-house tech team who can do some coding and all. So it will be a combination of in-house and out-house thing. That is one of the big learnings for me. Building a tech is not easy. So I have a lot of respect for all the tech founders who build technology just dreaming about it and then building it. It is a different thing. Uh, so we are building that technology. We want to be the tech first company in mortgage space in the country. Uh, and 12 to 24 months, technology will be one thing. We go deeper. We are at 51 branches now. We go to 125 to 135 branches in the next 12 to 24 months, I would say. Build around 1800 to 2000 crores of AUM with clean portfolio. Build the liability franchise. That will be one of the important things for us for the longevity of our company. So building the liability franchise will be one of the next big things for us. So we don't look at raising any funds in the next 18-24 months. Whatever capital we have today, that would suffice for 24 to 30 months. Uh, and as I said, 10 years vision, we want to be one of the most respected brands in the country. Uh, on the culture front, we have something called, somebody told me, you should create a TGIM movement. That struck to me. TGIM is thank God it's Monday. So people should be ready to come. Like how you go to party on Friday, the same way they should be ready to come to work on Monday. So we have an internal news magazine. Our team has decided we'll put TGIM in every edition. The third edition is coming out this week. First page is TGIM. I don't know how do we create it, but I feel we are working with whatever we could not implement as employees in our previous organization. We are trying to implement that here. There are a lot of small measures which we have done. Apart from that, building the learning culture. We want to create uh, talent for the industry. I'll be very happy people go out and build good companies. If they say, boss, if it is a Vridhi employee, we will be very happy to take him. So if I am in that list of companies after 5 years, we will be very happy. Um, uh, I have no aspiration it should become that big valuation and all. That's a byproduct, is what I feel. If we are building all these pieces right, so the valuation, everything will follow. See, of course, the business what we are in, it cannot. There is a though anybody who has money can start this business. It is not everybody's cup of tea. You cannot build large volume, so any of the big business houses cannot get into this space because the effort to reward ratio is very low for them. So it has become a niche space where only people who have got that passion, because it's a very hands-on. To disburse 4,000 cases, you will have to have 4,000 people. It is very people intrinsic business. So I'll be very happy if we are able to create 4 to 5,000 jobs in the rural areas. Whatever technology comes, so we should be able to create jobs. Of course, without compromising on our profitability. Uh, so get to a 6, 17, 18% of uh, ROE in 7, 8 years time. If we are doing that, then we are able to build this sustainable charity business, which can last as a dream for the next generation.
No, on that note, we've come to the end of the discussion again. Thank you so much. It was a very, very inspiring story and a very insightful discussion. Thank you again for taking the time, Ram.
And thanks a lot for inviting Ishwar. So I have one question to you. So when you guys met us, I think within a week's time, you guys gave an okay to go ahead. Luckily, both the rounds with you guys and Norwest, we have not had any intermediary. We've not taken help of any investment banker. It was very organically we have raised money. The only money what we have paid is to your lawyers. Uh, other than that, we have not spent a penny. So God has been kind, and whatever our 26 years of corporate experience helped, I feel. What made you guys to take that decision on Vridhi and team?
No, I think it was a very easy decision for us. I think it was a combination of course, the market opportunity that's there in affordable housing, as well as the tremendous amount of experience that the founding team had. I think very rare that we find a set of people with so much experience coming together and building something that they have so much expertise in building. Right now, apart from just the market opportunity as well as the experience, I think some of the other things that really stood out for us is just the thoughtfulness in terms of the design choices that you are making, the approach that you took to combining both the physical as well as the technology aspects of the business, right? So, and just a very prudent and kind of strong risk management thinking, right? So I think these are some of the things that stood out in addition to just the sheer amount of experience and the expertise that you bring to the table.
Chalo, thanks Ishwar for all the support. You guys have been good investors for last 12 plus months now. Hope we will have a wonderful journey together.
No, thanks a lot, Ram, and it's our privilege to have partnered with you. Thank you so much.